Western leaders gathering in New York have showed a united front against Russia over last week's violation of Estonia's airspace by Russian fighter jets. The U.S. envoy to the United Nations told the UN Security Council that NATO allies would defend every inch of the military alliance's territory. The UK Foreign Secretary warned Moscow that its incursions into NATO territory risked triggering an armed conflict. On Friday, 3 Russian MiG fighters entered Estonian airspace for 12 minutes. Russia has rejected this version of events. Now, Germany's Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul joined the leaders showing solidarity with Estonia.
All NATO countries have our full solidarity. We expect Russia to respect territorial integrity. We stand together in NATO solidarity. How NATO responds militarily to violations of its territory will be decided at the NATO level. Everyone must know that we're ready to respond at any time. NATO's long-standing principle of flexible response still applies. We're capable of this at any time and call on Russia to refrain from further aggressive acts and specific violations of the law.
Our correspondent Teri Schultz joins me now for more from Brussels. Teri, Estonia is receiving a lot of support from its allies. Has this Russian incursion maybe even strengthened the NATO alliance's resolve?
I think it really has, Nicole. It has certainly brought into sharp focus the dangers from these Russian aircraft. It's certainly not the first time. It's even the 4th time for Estonia alone that there have been Russian jets buzzing or entering Estonian airspace. Now, Estonian Foreign Minister Markus Tsahkna didn't leave anything to chance today at this meeting. He brought in evidence from radar and photographic evidence that showed these Russian planes deep into Estonian airspace, 10 kilometers, in fact, showing that they were carrying missiles, which of course ups the ante and the danger in these situations. But of course, all eyes would have been on the United States to hear what they were going to say about this violation. And U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, did state his unequivocal support for Estonia, but even more, he criticized Moscow for this dangerous violation. So those certainly weren't welcome words in the Kremlin, but they would have been all along Estonia's eastern flank. But I have to say, Nicole, I really think that the most important statement was perhaps made by the Polish government today. Now, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and Foreign Minister Radek Sikorski reinforced that there at the UN, saying that the next Russian vehicle that flies into Polish airspace will be shot down. This is the first time we're hearing such an unequivocal statement of what Moscow should expect next.
It's an unprecedented answer to something truly unprecedented because Russian planes were in Estonian airspace for 12 minutes. Russia denies that this even happened. Now, experts widely regard this as an attempt to test NATO's unity, NATO's resolve. But what does Russia then gain from denying that this really took place?
That's right. It says Moscow says that it had planes in the area, but they were flying from Karelia to Kaliningrad and never entered Estonian airspace. But, you know, this was a pattern of provocations over the last month where, of course, we saw those 19 drones enter Polish airspace, which would have teed up the Polish response. And then from that, Russia learned that, OK, some of our drones might get shot down, in this case, 3 of the 19. Just a couple of days later, another Russian drone flew into Romanian airspace and didn't get shot down. So there, of course, it wonders, you know, will they shoot us down or not? And you can't be sure. Now with this new statement from Poland that it will shoot down planes certainly makes it a lot more difficult of a calculation for Moscow. The Baltic states don't have their own air force. They're reliant on NATO, but Poland does. So it will certainly be a test for Moscow on whether it takes Poland at its word or not.
Estonia invoked NATO's Article 4 over these violations, and the consultations are due to take place tomorrow. What can we expect?
what we usually expect from NATO and what we'll get again tomorrow is a statement of, steadfast unity, especially with how dangerous this provocation was compared to earlier ones where Russian planes stayed in NATO airspace for a few seconds, maybe up to a minute, a couple of minutes. 12 minutes is really a shocking length to have them flying around, ignoring orders to move, with their transponders off. Really a danger not just to military aircraft, but also civilian aircraft. So I think that what we hear from NATO is going to also be colored by this Polish statement. So it's going to be putting pressure on Russia, of course, but it's putting pressure on NATO allies as well to perhaps state how they come down on the idea of whether to shoot down Russian jets and drones regularly now. So this will be very interesting tomorrow, Nicole, and Secretary General Rutte will be giving a press conference after that morning meeting, and I'll be there so we can talk about it more tomorrow.
Plenty more to talk about, I'm sure. That was Teri Schultz. Thanks so much.